Welcome, colleagues. So in this presentation, I am going to talk about something that is not so familiar to most of you. Identifying rare diaphragmatic hernia variants during routine mid-trimester fetal anatomy screening. We will track the subtle displacement of the gastric bubble in subtle mediastinal shifts to identify rare diaphragmatic hernia variants, often missed during routine mid-trimester scans. So by isolating atypical retrocardiac masses and analyzing abnormal pleural interfaces, we bridge the gap between standard screening protocols and the definitive diagnosis of complex congenital defects. So the high stakes diagnostic challenge: what if a standard mid-trimester scan is hiding a life-altering secret right in front of you? Most clinicians look for the obvious, but rare diaphragmatic hernia variants often mask themselves as routine anatomy. Today, we are uncovering the subtle gastric displacements and atypical retrocardiac masses that separate a misdiagnosis from a life-saving intervention. So the expert investigative approach is the one that we're supposed to use. Those are experts. We are not students. We are not learners. We are not novices. Standard screening protocols often fail to catch complex congenital defects that don't follow the rules. By mastering the analysis of abnormal pleural interfaces and mediastinal shifts, you can bridge the gap between normal and critical. We are diving deep into the technical nuances of isolating rare variants that most ultrasound technicians overlook. So the hidden plain sight mystery. A routine fetal anatomy screening can change in an instant when you know exactly where the gastric bubble should be. These rare diaphragmatic hernias are masters of disguise, frequently mimicking benign structures during the second trimester. We are revealing the diagnostic roadmap to identifying these subtle anomalies before they become postnatal emergencies. So now, our title and its elaboration: identifying rare diaphragmatic hernia variants during routine mid-trimester fetal anomaly screening. So these are my presentation notes. Congenital diaphragmatic hernia CDH is a developmental defect of the fetal diaphragm that often allows abnormal abdominal organs to herniate into the thoracic cavity. Although most sonographers recognize classic left-sided CDH, rare variants may be overlooked during routine anomaly scans because they mimic normal anatomy or present with subtle findings. The aim of this presentation is to improve recognition of uncommon diaphragmatic hernias during the standard 18 to 24-week fetal anatomy examination. So what are our learning objectives? By the end of this presentation, we hope that you should be able to identify embryological development of the diaphragm, recognize common and rare diaphragmatic hernia variants, identify key sonographic signs, differentiate diaphragmatic hernias from thoracic masses, perform systematic ultrasound assessments, know when fetal MRI or specialist referral is indicated. So the embryology of the diaphragm. The diaphragm develops from 4 embryological components, which are the septum transversum, pleuroperitoneal membranes, dorsal mesentery of the esophagus, and the muscular ingrowth from the body wall. Failure of fusion results in diaphragmatic defects, timing weeks 4 to 10 of gestation. So, these are the types of diaphragmatic hernias that we have. I hope you've heard about them or you've never heard. You are fortunate if it's the first time, because I'm going to tell you about them. So the first type is called the left Bochdalek hernia. This is the most common, which is the frequency of 80 to 85%, which is the left posterolateral aspect. That's the most location. Then the right Bochdalek, which constitutes about 10 to 15%. Right posterolateral. Then you've got the bilateral, less than 2%, which affect both sides. Then the Morgagni, 2 to 5%, which is the antero-parasternal aspect. Then you've got the central tendon defect, which is very rare. They affect the central diaphragm. Eventration, which is rare. Weak diaphragm rather than the true defect. Then you've got the hiatus hernia, which is extremely very rare. That is the esophageal hiatus. So the left Bochdalek hernia, what is it? Typical findings include stomach inside the thorax, mediastinum shift to the right, cardiac displacement with a small abdominal circumference, polyhydramnios in late pregnancy. Diagnosis is usually straightforward. For this is the most common. If it happens, it's very obvious to see it on ultrasound. So the rare variant, which is the right-sided CDH, this variant is commonly missed because liver and lung have similar echogenicity. Stomach remains in the abdomen. Minimum mediastinal shift may be present. So helpful clues to identify it. Hepatic veins appear or are seen above the diaphragm. Hepatic veins. So if you see the hepatic veins above the diaphragm, so you should have a clue. The portal vein within the chest. So if you see the portal vein as well, so you know you have to use color Doppler to visualize this. The gallbladder visualized in the thorax and interrupted diaphragm. Color Doppler is extremely valuable. So the Morgagni hernia, anterior diaphragmatic defect, often contains the liver, the colon, and the omentum. Characteristics: mild cardiac displacement, anterior thoracic mass, easily confused with the teratoma or pericardial cyst or a lung lesion. Bilateral CDH. This is very common. This is very uncommon. So it's very uncommon when it happens in both sides. So ultrasound findings include severe pulmonary hypoplasia, both hemidiaphragmatic disruption, liver centrally displaced, with the poor visualization of abdominal organs. It is associated with very poor prognosis. Diaphragmatic eventration. What is diaphragmatic eventration? So not a true hernia. The diaphragm remains intact but is abnormally elevated due to the deficient muscle development. Sonographic features include smooth elevated diaphragm, liver remains below the diaphragm, no bowel loops inside chest. So the important differential diagnosis. Hiatus hernia. Very rare presentation. Signs include small cystic structure behind the heart, intermittent movement, normal diaphragm, normal abdominal stomach, can easily mimic bronchogenic cyst, esophageal duplication cyst. So systematic ultrasound assessment, you should evaluate the 4-chamber heart, the cardiac axis, the mediastinal position, the diaphragmatic continuity, the stomach position, the liver position, the portal vein, hepatic veins, the bowel loops, and also subject them to color Doppler assessment. Color Doppler clues. What are some of the clues that you can get from color Doppler? Look for portal vein inside the thorax, hepatic veins above the diaphragm, umbilical vein displacement, the hepatic artery entering the chest. These findings strongly suggest right-sided liver herniation. So the lung to head ratio, measure contralateral lung area, observe expected lung head ratio, helps predict pulmonary hypoplasia, neonatal survival, a need for fetal intervention, the poor prognosis observed or expected when the lung to head ratio is less than 25%. So the differential diagnosis, CPM, which is no abdominal organs are found in the chest. Bronchopulmonary sequestration, feeding systematic arteries observed, bronchogenic cyst, solitary cyst, mediastinum teratoma, you see the calcifications. Then the eventration, intact diaphragm, pericardial cyst is to be adjacent to the heart. So the associated anomalies, approximately 40 to 50% of fetuses have associated anomalies. Common associations include cardiac defects, chromosomal abnormalities, neural tube defects, skeletal abnormalities, gastrointestinal malformations, and the genetic counseling should be considered always. So the role of MRI. What is the role of MRI in these congenital hernias? So MRI helps evaluate liver herniation, lung volume, hernia contents, surgical planning. MRI complements ultrasound but does not replace it. So the management includes maternal fetal medicine referral, detailed fetal echocardiography, genetic testing when indicated, serial ultrasound, MRI, delivery at a tertiary center, and neonatal surgery. So these are some of the practical scanning skills that you guys have to master or should put into context. Always identify the stomach, follow the diaphragm continuously, examine both hemidiaphragms, assess the cardiac axis, use multiple scan planes, apply color Doppler, check liver location, confirm bowel position. So now, to wrap this up, you take home messages. Rare diaphragmatic hernias are frequently overlooked. Right-sided defects are the most challenging because liver echogenicity resembles lung tissue. Color Doppler substantially improves detection. A systematic review of the diaphragm, stomach, liver, and mediastinum during every routine mid-trimester anatomy scan increases diagnostic confidence. Early prenatal diagnosis supports multidisciplinary counseling, delivery planning, and improved neonatal care. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is another piece of a cake to take home, to take to practices, so that we make our second trimester screening something that is really memorable to you and the patients. If it doesn't give those memories, it means we have done an injustice. So the memories said they may be, but they can save the patient. So this marks the end of our today's presentation. Let's grow the community. Share our content. Like. If you've got any questions, feel free. Our lines are directly open for communication. Anything that you feel you need, any information that you think we should share, we are there for you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.